Well, hello there, Apple Bites. This is your Apple Bite written Rit Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, Apple Bites, where we take a bite out of the apple and share it with you. Today we're going to have lots of fun. Rich Davis is back and to talk about his new Angel story.
Sorry, I was getting some echo there. My bad.
Okay. I get echo all the time sometimes. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It was me. I'm sorry.
And of course, Chris here is here to talk about board games for the better.
Hey.
Oh man! So you know what, Rich? Let's start with you. That way we can get your Kickstarter out there.
Okay.
And while we're talking and geeking out, people can go do what they need to do.
Yeah, I hope so. Something they need to do is go and follow the Kickstarter.
Exactly. Do me a favor, Rich. I see my computer's acting up on me. Can you send me the link in the private chat and I'll put it up?
Man, can do. Hold on. Of course, I don't have my glasses on, so I gotta get like your old man, like really, really close.
Well, that's what you see me doing. What I'm doing. I'm like,
yeah, do like the squinting, lean forward,
right under the picture, right?
Well, if you put your glasses on, we wouldn't recognize you. You know.
I know. Man. You know, it really does make a difference. Like I always was thinking, like, oh come on, how does nobody know what Clark Kent is Superman? And then you see somebody actually take their glasses off, and it's like, holy crap, you look
a whole different person. Hey, where did Chris go?
But now, how Lois Lane didn't know? That's like,
yeah,
that's the question. That is the question.
The world's greatest investigator.
Exactly.
Like you're the. You're
like Clark Kent all day, has Superman save him at night, never sees them together, can't figure it out. Like,
right? Yeah.
It's you would never expect it. Like how could he be Superman?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
what bugs me out the most though is like when you watch Christopher Reeves do it, then you go, oh, I get it. I see it.
Oh, I don't think I'll ever forget the scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's the scene where he wants to tell Lois he's Superman, and he takes the glasses on, and he straightens his back, and you're just like, oh, you're a completely different person.
Exactly.
I feel like that was like the peak of just like the difference between Clark and Superman.
And then he puts the glasses back on, and it's like,
and he just hunches over again, and he gets like a little timid, like,
yeah.
Oh, that's why I love that one so much.
That's the version I like, where like Clark Kent is the disguise, I don't know when they go too far with it. They're saying he's not really Clark Kent at all. He's just Superman. Mm-hmm. But when they play it like that, like Clark Kent is disguised, like Grant Morrison did it good. Grant Morrison did it good in All-Star Superman. If you read the book, but it's like
that's my favorite one.
And he was like sloppy, and it's like like half of his shirt was out of his thing, and he well the artist quietly did that. He did that really well. Yeah. That was
All-Star
that like I think it's like that opening page with him like gliding just past the sun. One of my favorite double page spreads.
Yeah,
I give that book. If somebody comes in and tells me they don't like Superman, I put All-Star Superman in their hands. I say, read this, and if you don't like this, you don't like Superman, because it is All-Star Superman is everything Superman is supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
Creature of
I feel like most people don't like the idea of Superman or what they turned him into.
I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense.
He turned him into a Reaganite toady and completely ruined Superman for generations. And so I'm really excited now that we're seeing James Gunn come back and give us, hope Superman again.
Yes.
I'm so excited about this movie.
Well, yeah, I didn't like the Snyder version. I mean, the actor was great. Snyder had a great eye for casting, like I always say. The actor was great. Superman was great. I think his picks were great. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all great. He had a great eye for casting, but the way he interpreted Superman, I didn't.
Superman, it's just yeah.
All right, Rich, we're ready to go. Go for it.
Give us a spiel. So this is my Kickstarter for my next book, Angel Hunter. It is a seinen manga inspired dark fantasy told in the American comic book style. It's about humanity's first strides after being expelled from Eden, and humans have to claw out an existence in a world dominated by the 13 fallen angels and an army of kaiju Nephilim.
I didn't know you could do that in Kickstarter.
I didn't know you could do that either. It's kind of fantastic.
What is?
Hold on, my dog is on screen here. I think she might need to go outside or something.
Don't worry. All the pets get involved in this show.
Hey, that's good because there might be a cat that jumps up on my shoulders here in a little bit too.
Oh, that we're used to. The cats always show up.
They want to be
Yeah,
stars, man.
every Zoom meeting during COVID, man, you know, the cats were the pets were the stars. You know, like.
Right? Yeah, what are you watching me for? Watch the cat. They're funny.
Did I just see JoJo?
I think you did, yeah.
I
And
gotta
that's
say,
weird.
I love the
I have
fact that you broke it down and you showed the people how you went through your process.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know, I really like Joey Galvez. He designed the Kickstarter page for me with Geek Collective, and I really got to give him a mad shout out for all the great work he's done. Although I don't
agree.
like the fact that he slipped JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in there because I absolutely hate that anime, and it's all because of what they do to the dog. There is no reason to treat an animal like that. I watched I'm watching the anime. I'm so excited about it. Everybody's told me really cool things, and I'm watching it. And it's like first episode, he kicks the dog, and I'm like, nope, done. That's it. Like I'm out.
Yeah, we're talking about Iggy. Yeah, worse things happen to that. Oh no, you're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was just like,
I
Iggy. I forgot.
You're talking
I'm not
about the
gonna
original
watch
series, that dog.
No.
I mean, like, you know, I killed the dog too, like that.
I'm the guy that before I watch a movie, I've got to go to does the dog die and check it out. And if it says yes, the dog dies, I'm like, I'll watch something else.
Yeah, isn't there a website that'll tell you if the dog
Yeah,
dies?
they have a website that tells you
Yeah.
if the
Does
pet
the dog
dies,
die?
if the animal dies, if the kid dies.
Perfect. But then there's some odd little things on there too about like, you know, does somebody leave without saying goodbye? And I'm like, really? That's a trigger? But I mean, hey, some people are triggered by different things.
How
So
dare they?
I know, right?
I think that has to do with your own personal life. I can see like if you have a father who left and never said anything.
Yeah.
Does the dog? Does the dad go out for cigarettes and never come back?
And a lot of people with kids, like as soon as they have kids, they just come to text parents like if anything happens to the kids, they don't want to watch it, they don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
It just hits you different, you know, when you have different experiences.
Speaking of which, you do a horrible thing to a kid in your story.
Oh, come on, you gonna call me out like that?
Hey, it's not a dog. It's not a dog.
Man, like I literally in a book through the one of the reviewers coined it the baby margarita blender. I do that. It don't even faze me. But you put a dog on a shelf that's too high for it to get down from, and it's like whining, dude, I freak out.
Go ahead, tell the people a little bit more about this. I really like what you put together.
Oh, thank you. So Angel Hunter, what I like to tell people is there's nothing really original about the plot of Angel Hunter. It's everything that you're going to find in a good seinen manga story. I mean, you got special children, they learn their powers, they power scale, you know, things like that. It's just a basic good seinen manga plot. But where Angel Hunter gets great, and I have to say that if I don't think it's great, nobody else is going to. What makes Angel Hunter great are the characters. And the characters are what you fall in love with. If you'll scroll back up, the character you were just looking at right above this one, that's Go. Go is a paraplegic warrior with an absolute heart of steel. He refuses to give up no matter what the world is throwing at him. He's the guy who his village is getting attacked by this massive army. People are dying all around him. He's been knocked down and he crawls elbow to elbow, dragging his belly and his legs behind him to get to the temple and save one egg. That's Go. He's the Naruto of the story. He will not give up. He won't. He refuses. And we'll find out later that he has the ability to borrow power from the beast gods. The only drawback to that is the more he taps into that power, the closer he comes to becoming a beast himself. So if you played Vampire, it's it's that beast
Dude,
raging.
as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, I know where this.
Exactly. When is he going to lose it all? And it's also kind of Wheel of Time with Rand, how the more he touches Sidene, the closer he gets to going mad. But it's really Go is really kind of a Superman character, and he's a character of sacrifice. I mean, he's willing, if he has to jump into that fire and die himself, he's going to get that egg out of there. He won't give up. Go's actually one of my favorite characters. I love all the characters in Angel Hunter, but Go is he's one of my favorites because I really do. I love his willpower. I love his commitment to seeing things through.
I gotta say, I like the character's name, Go.
Yep.
It already tells you from the
Tells you exactly who he is.
Exactly.
And then down below, the one you were just scrolling to, that's Azaraza, which
Dude,
is a
I
power
gotta
stone.
say, every single time I look at this, I'm like, what the?
So Azaraza, they're twin souls trapped in the same body. One's the male half, one's the female half. It's Aza is the female, Raza is the male, and they inhabit the same body, and they're struggling to live. They want to exist, but in the end, only one of them is going to be able to, and they know that one is going to have to consume the other eventually. Now, there is a little caveat where they can exist temporarily in the world together, but in order to do that, one of them has to inhabit a corpse, and corpses decay. And when they're inside of them, the corpses decay rapidly. And then if they don't make it back to one another by the time the corpse falls apart, then they die.
Wow.
Yeah. So imagine their life and how difficult it is and how scary it is there. And so what you're seeing in this picture right here is you're seeing one of them come out of a corpse that they've been inhabiting there. There's been this Angel Hunter Volume 1 is it is an adrenaline fueled, action packed book. It's like, I tell people, imagine if the Empire hit every planet in the Republic at the same time with massive force. That's what's going on in the realm of Edessa, which is where Angel Hunter takes place. And so these, Aza and Raza, they have had to inhabit a corpse to fight, basically. And so they're coming back together because, so that's what this is one of them is emerging from the corpse and desperately trying to get back into the other one. And this is Saoirse, which it's one of those. It's an Irish name that's a lot of people think it's Cerise, but it's Saoirse, and that's purposeful because it sounds like Cersei. So
I was
she's
about to say, that's the first thing that popped into my head was Cersei.
Cersei,
It has to be like Cersei.
Yep. Saoirse is she's a mage, and she has the power to manipulate darkness and shadow. And she has these shadow tendrils that can reach into a person's body, wrap it around their spine, and rip their soul out. And she consumes it to give herself more power. But the drawback to her is you're wondering, when is she going to break bad? Or is she going to break bad? Is she going to side with the humans and save the human world? Or is she going to side with the fallen and destroy humanity or enslave humanity? Because each of these characters is a Nephilim, so half angel, half human. So their foots are kind of in both worlds. That duality, that conflict of inner nature, that's a really powerful theme in Angel Hunter.
Dude, I feel like you were sitting there going, I need to make a game, but I'm going to make it to a story first. And I was going to wait to talk to you about the game later, but I got to talk to you about now because the more you describe it, the more I'm like, damn, these are those rich types of things that Vampire the Masquerade does, where you dive in and it's so rich to role play.
Yeah, we've actually been talking to a couple of companies about developing this into a tabletop RPG. There's a lot of possibilities for Angel Hunter to evolve into different mediums. That's why I tell people with this, I really feel like I have something special here. I have the same feelings about Angel Hunter as I did about Cult of Dracula. I really do. I think it's special. It obviously lends itself to animation, tabletop RPGs. I mean, hell, maybe even a board game. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities for where it could go.
It definitely sound like game characters because it's like, hey, this character can do this and this, but here's the catch, So
Right. Yeah.
Like even like video game characters, it sound pretty cool. Like
you can tell I played some vampire or
video games. Like here, these are 5 characters. This guy's really strong, but he doesn't have speed. This guy has speed, but he's weak. It's
Yep.
Yeah, so
that's what makes them fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it rich too, because you have these characters, they have abilities, but at the same time they have weaknesses, and they're going through something, all at the same time.
Yep. And Angel Hunter, it has to have that world because this isn't a 24-page one-off. This is the first volume of 10. Angel Hunter Volume 1 is 96 pages. That's the shortest volume that we're going to have. The rest of them are going to be around 120 to 160 pages. So when we're finally finished with Angel Hunter, it's going to be well over 1,000 story pages. So this is an epic. So it's one that we need people to buy into early, because if you don't buy into it early, then you're probably not going to buy into it for, if you don't read Volume 1, you're probably not going to pick up Volume 4. So this is a commitment that both Les and I are making. I mean, I fully anticipate this is going to consume my time for the next 5 to 6 years. This is I'm sorry, what?
I said I can see that.
Oh, thank you. This is Aiden. He is the primary antagonist. I don't write heroes and villains. I write protagonists and antagonists, and the audience can decide who's evil and who's good. But Aiden, he's the Anakin Skywalker, archetype. He's very powerful. Speed, intelligence, strategy, strength, but he's rotting. This armor is all that holds him together. He wears it all the time, because if he takes it off, he's literally going to fall apart. And he
also very Darth Vader.
Yeah, very, very, very much so. And he's torn between both worlds, because he's also a Nephilim. All 4 of our main characters here are Nephilim, and I can't give too much away about Aiden without giving the plot away, but he's a pretty badass antagonist.
So if this was a video game, what class would Aiden be?
Ooh. He would be like an Eldritch Knight, maybe.
Ooh. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever you think a Witcher character could be. There's always that debate, like which class would Geralt be in D&D? I've always gone with Eldritch Knight. So that's probably where you could make an argument that he's a paladin, because he does have that religious fervor to him. He truly believes, he is absolutely convinced that he is going to set the world free. He is going to break the chains and free humanity from the tyranny of the Radiant God.
I can see it. And I gotta say that I like this trope. I like this trope of the hero that's falling apart. Mm-hmm. Because you always have like either they're negative energy type beings, or the very power is pulling them apart. It makes for a good story. Also, good character, because you got this guy who's going through all this stuff, and if he's a hero, then how is he still a hero?
Right. Exactly. And he gets Yeah, he's a very complicated character. And yes, he's an archetype that you're going to find in a lot of stories, but that's not a bad thing because there's a reason why these archetypes appear in over and over and over again in fiction. You just have to find a way to make them different and make them work within your world and your story.
Right off the bat, I gotta thank you because I find that most people when they do that their first page, their pre-page, the follow page, they give you like one picture and then you're like, oh, what's this about?
No, that's not what we're doing. You guys will be the first ones to hear this. So breaking news, we're actually going to give people the whole book the day the Kickstarter launches. You're going to be able to go click a link on a website and go through the whole 96 pages.
Wow.
That's how confident that's how confident we are that you're going to want to buy this book. We're willing to give it to you for free, and you're going to love it so much you're going to go support it because you're going to want to see us get to volume 2.
That's amazing.
That's a bold statement there.
That is bold, man. It's like we know you're gonna like this.
No, really, go big or go home. I swing for the fences, man. I've made a whole.
I gotta say, as someone who you gave like a huge portion of this book to, so I can check it through it and read it. I want to buy it, so maybe you're right. So maybe you're right because you gave it to me. I've read through it and I like what I saw, and I'm sitting over here going, so what are you starting the Kickstarter?
Right,
the
25th.
I gotta say, I really appreciate you going and saying like you've seen these archetypes before instead of just going like you've never seen a character like this ever in your life, and it's like no, but you're like. But you're like, no, you've seen characters like this. You just never see them in a world like this. You've never seen them in a story like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
exactly.
It's like good. I like that. I appreciate that.
We've probably all played each of these characters in a game of D&D. I mean, let's be real.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think it's funny that your our falling apart character over there was the last character that I played in D&D when I was playing D&D and not being the DM. Because my dungeon master had faith in me, and my character died.
Ooh.
And came back, but he didn't come back right.
Of course not. He's undead.
and it was a fantastic because sometimes you want that gravitas to play, especially in D&D, because some DMs don't allow you to do certain things.
Right, and that sucks. It's like. The DM, you're there, let people do what they do, man. I mean, punish them if they make stupid mistakes. It's like I was a storyteller for Vampire: The Dark Ages many, many, many years ago, and I had this players they're at a court, and doing their thing, and the prince is there, and he's like, can I just flip the prince off because I don't want to do what he's telling me to do? And I'm like, you can. And the consequence of him doing that is before he got his finger up, the justiciar cut his hand off, and then followed up by cutting his head off. And I'm like, you can do whatever you want to do. There's consequences.
I gotta ask you, did he blame you for that?
No.
Okay, good. No. Because what usually happens, you know what I'm talking about. What usually happens is like, oh, how could you be like that? I'm like, dude, you flipped off the.
Yeah, they knew the type of storyteller that I was, and I was fair about it, and they knew there were consequences to everything they did. It's like I never told them what they could do, but there were good consequences sometimes, and there were often very bad consequences because Vampire is a very dark game.
Hey, they messed around, they found out, right?
Exactly.
I gotta say, of all the games I played, Vampire gives you automatic karma.
Mm-hmm. It really does. It really does.
I had to pick the words there.
Building a character in Vampire is so much fun because you get down to the merits and the flaws, and they have to balance each other.
Yeah.
You can't take all your points and merits. You've got to balance that out with an equal number of flaws, and that's just it makes it such a fun, deep, realistic game.
And then it actually makes you see that maybe you might have flaws because I've known I've seen Masquerade help people who didn't understand that about themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and then as they played the game, they were like, and you see that moment too, as the storyteller, you're like,
Yep.
and just to add to that, and I say it here on the show all the time, Dungeons and Dragons and all these role-playing games are a great place for you to let out all these things that you're going through. My favorite thing is, Ralph, I'm playing this character. I don't know where he came from because he's nothing like me.
And you're like, yeah, welcome to your dark side, kid.
And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, play the character.
Like, embrace who you are, pun intended.
Yeah. Oh my God, the stories.
Right. I do. I love playing. Vampire is my favorite role-playing game. I don't get to play it anymore. Everybody wants to do D&D, which I love. I love me some D&D. But I miss being able to play Vampire, especially Dark Ages. Dark Ages was by far my favorite.
I gotta say, Dark Ages was fun. I did like the more modern thing, but I think that's only because it was one of the only games where you can play modern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it
very
was done
true.
well.
Yep. Did you ever do Requiem? Did you play that?
I bought the book and I read through it, and I was like, and I kept playing the old game.
Right. And when I did play Requiem some, and the game plays better than it seems when you read the book. I think when you're reading the book, you're just so like, no, those are Toreador. They're not Deva. What are you talking about? And they kind of got rid of the La Sombra, which were my favorite clan to play. But it played very well. The system was really good.
And that's what I heard. And but the whole thing is, sometimes when you mess with the storyline, and they mess with the storyline big time. And
they
it kind of like it kind of cannibalized itself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was it broken and needed fixing, or was one of those cases like always where it wasn't broken, didn't need fixing, and they try to fix it anyway?
I didn't think it was broken. I mean, I thought Masquerade was a great game, and I just think and I do applaud White Wolf for this. They weren't afraid to try something new. But this just seemed it seemed very unnecessary to do. They maybe should have just made kept going with Masquerade, but had made Requiem something similar to the way they did with Werewolf and
side story.
Yeah, exactly. God, I
can't
think
of its own campaign.
Yeah, exactly. But you got to give them credit for rolling the dice and seeing what would happen.
I gotta say, I agree with you. I think it was an interesting way to redo everything, and a lot of the stuff that they put into play actually does make the game better.
Right.
I just like my own story.
And that's the fun of it. You're writing your own story. It's a storytelling game.
Oh, totally. And that's why instead of a dungeon master, you're a storyteller.
Exactly. Yep.
And I like this because I feel like you're storytelling in this. You're building this world. You're giving people these characters who aren't like complete heroes or villains. They're just doing what they need to do during a time of war.
Right. That's exactly it. And because with this book, you could make an argument. You can make a very strong argument that the fallen are right and they're good, and you can make an argument that they're evil. Same thing about humanity. It's there aren't any clear answers. I hate reading. One of the reasons I don't read a lot of superhero books anymore is I don't like the clear good guy, bad guy thing.
Don't worry about that, because there are no clear good guys in comic book books.
Right.
They got
every bad guy gets redeemed somehow.
Yeah.
Every bad guy gets redeemed. Every good guy is not pure good. Like we were talking about Superman. And they keep muddling with the characters, and I'm like, I want to go back to Superman is the good guy. Captain America is the good guy.
It's like, screw you, Frank Miller.
I mean, I think it works as long as you understand. As long as you understand them, it's fine. It's like It's like Doctor Doom, like he. To me, it's like Doctor Doom. Like, didn't really change. Really change him. It's pretty much just like he wants to rule the world because he feels he'll be better at it. And a lot of times it does seem like he would be better at ruling the world.
That's what I do. I love about Doom.
I think when the characters like that, it's pretty cool. They can get away with a lot of good and evil.
It works
when you understand.
Yeah.
You were gonna say, Rich?
Oh, I was just gonna say with Doom, it works very well. I was like, I'm really enjoying One World Under Doom. That's been a really good arc with Marvel because it's kind of hard to argue that Doom isn't right.
There's this great, Fantastic Four story where Doom wasn't in charge of Latveria; he was taken out of power, and then Latveria just went into chaos. Fantastic Four actually had to put Dr. Doom back in control. It was like, yo, you're the only person that can rule Latveria. That was awesome.
Yep.
I feel like that's like the kind of bad guy that I really enjoy is they want to do the right thing, but they're willing to go to like the extremes that makes people go like, wait, no, that's bad. And they're like, is it though? Very like ends justify the means.
Yep. Those are the most interesting villains by far.
Oh yeah.
I gotta say, I showed both of these covers off. Dude, wow.
Yeah, I love them.
They are just on another level.
This one, it's got that really rad 80s fantasy vibe to it, which I love. Makes me think of
right.
Legend, Labyrinth, Last Unicorn.
Yep.
That's what this cover. I absolutely love it. And the next cover down by Jordan Dorenzo, we can tell if you're an anime geek if you get what this cover is or manga geek, excuse me, if you get what this cover is referencing.
Attack on Titan.
It is. What's that?
Is it Attack on Titan?
No, although I do love Attack on Titan. This is a reference to the final volume of Naruto, which is one of the most famous manga covers ever because it shows Naruto from the back looking at Konoha. And, it was very brave at the time not to show the character's face, because you're just looking at his back and he's looking at the future. He's looking at what might be, and you're behind it, so it's always been a very powerful image in my mind. And so when I asked Jordan to do this cover, I really wanted him to do that. And I think he just absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
It makes
and you guys haven't even seen the variant covers yet.
Dude, it makes you go, which cover do I want? Oh, no, of course you had to say that before when I was going, which one do I want? I got to say, though,
number two for me.
Of video game covers.
Yeah, this would look like an old, like an NES box cover,
Yeah, Fabio with the sword.
Definitely.
So you're going to make it harder for me to decide because you're going to throw a bunch of more variant covers. You're
yeah. God, there's not going to be as many variants as there were for Cult of Dracula, but we do have Jay Ferguson, Spike Jarrell, Ingrid Gala, Greg Land, all doing covers for.
Wow, Greg Land, cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they're all doing covers for Angel Hunter. We'll be revealing those once the project actually launches. Right now it's in pre-launch. So please go there and follow it. Following it doesn't commit you to backing it, although we do hope that you will. But it really does help get the book out there in the Kickstarter algorithm.
Like I tell you people all the time, this is where you want to help people. This is free. You can help people for free. You can go follow this and it'll help out because it puts the whole project into a better place in the algorithm when this thing kicks off. Sometimes you even start off as a project we love.
Oh yeah, I would love to be there. Because that's basically a sure thing for getting funded. If you start out when you hit project we love, there is so much attention And that's where we need to be. I'd really love to be by May 25th when we launch. I'd really love to be around 250 followers already. And I think that's an achievable goal.
Well, you're in a pretty good place right now, so I can see it as achievable.
Yeah. What are we at? We're like, we're at 133. Okay. And we got a month to go. So hell, I might be shooting for 300 advanced followers.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. And we're going to be
it's so funny because it helps so much, and I feel like people don't get it.
Yep. I'll hammer that all day long. The best thing you can do for me is to go and sign up. Just click that notify me at launch button. That's a huge help. And I don't know if you guys have any retailers that watch your show or not, but we're going to have some really awesome retailer tiers as well. We're gonna. I have a really unique perspective on this because I'm a comic book fan, I'm a comic book creator, and I'm also a comic book retailer. I own Wonderland Comics in Cookeville, Tennessee. And
Jordan won't stop telling us that you do.
That right? Dude, the customers at the store too.
Exactly. And that says a lot though, because you got loyal customers. It tells the audience a lot.
Absolutely. And one of the things I want to do for retailers is we're going to give them mad margin on this book. The retailer tier is essentially going to be a loss leader for us. They're going to have they're going to get like 75-80% discounts on the MSRP to carry it in their stores. Because with Angel Hunter Volume 1, we need a buy-in early. Because this is 10 volumes, 1,000 story pages. This, like I said, it's not a 28-page one-off. So we want this in retailers' hands to put it in customers' hands. And the only way to do that is to give them margin, because it's so difficult to take a chance as a retailer on an indie book, because usually they're ridiculously expensive. They can't give you a good discount. So they're not profitable. When as a retailer, a lot of times when you're carrying an indie book, you're doing it because you believe in it or you believe in the creator. You don't really expect to make money off of it. We're going to give retailers the opportunity to make money. And we're also going to make it affordable for just the average Joe. We're targeting an MSRP of $19.99. So you're going to get 96 story pages for less than $20.
That's pretty solid.
That is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bang for your buck.
That's what we want bang for our bucks.
Yeah, right. We were hoping to do what Image does very well and do $9.99 Volume 1. We're still debating on whether we're able to do that or not. It's really going to come down to, honestly, the number of people we have following it in advance. Whether we can take a lower profit margin because we're going to do volume sales, the McDonald's approach to it. So we'll know, closer to May 25th when we get ready to launch on Kickstarter. The number of people following us are going to give us an idea of whether we can really hit that $9.99 point and still, make a little bit of money.
I gotta say, man, I was been sharing off the pages as you talk, and it looks as beautiful inside as it does outside.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Art like that is not cheap.
No. Les he's a very good artist. He really is. Les has worked with me on every project I've ever done, from Cult of Dracula all the way through to Angel Hunter. And either he's been a cover artist, he did backup inks on Prometheus and Chains. I've worked with him on everything. So it's fitting that we're doing Angel Hunter together as well.
There you have it, folks.
Although it was hard as hell to get him to do the anime style. He fought me every step of the way. he thought, anime was all One Piece and DBZ and stuff like that. And so I like, dude, read Berserk. Yeah. And I was like, read Battle Angel Alita, read Attack on Titan, and see there, and it opened up a whole, when he got it. I mean, it opened up this whole new world for him. And he really did. He crushed the art.
I put the link in the comment section. I'm going to do it again. Somebody has asked me to do it, so it's not the usual guy who asks me to do it, though.
Oh, right
he doesn't like putting his name in the chat. It's Time Enforcers. Our pal Paul is watching from over there today instead of being here with us. And there you go, Paul. Put it into the comment section. This is fantastic. You got to check it out. Go support it, folks. I got to say, that's why I wanted to have Rich on before the Kickstarter again, so you guys can actually get a chance to go see this and go follow from now, because you guys are going to want to be in on this from day one.
I hope so. I believe that as well. Like I said, I really believe we've got something special in this project.
It feels like it. Even as you were talking about it, look at that. You got a follower.
Thank you. Thank you, Time Enforcer.
I think I really feel like it showcased, as you were talking, how the characters were. It wasn't like, well, this is this and that's that. It was like you broke it down. You went into the nitty gritty. Tony said it right. It sounded more like you were making a video game character, because they're more complex. People don't think so, but video game characters are more complex because you have to have their weaknesses and their strength and all that stuff, because that all makes the game.
Right. Absolutely.
Same thing with when you're doing role-playing games. You need all that, because you can't just make 3-dimensional characters or 2-dimensional characters.
Right, 2-dimensional. I mean, we can play 4-dimensional, but I don't know how that works. I'm not a math guy.
I like my 5th-dimensional character.
Right. I like the element.
That's right. He's doing his own game. It's called Time Enforcers, and it's a history game, so he knows exactly what we're talking about.
Heck yeah.
Oh man. Speaking of games, Chris, why don't you tell the people all the good stuff? Give them the spiel. Yeah.
So I'm Chris Rodriguez, founder of Board Games for the Better. We're a nonprofit organization that brings board games and puzzles, RPGs, game days to children and families that are going through hard times. So I started this about 6 years ago. We wanted to start just before COVID, and then the whole thing just kind of happened. And so we've been giving out games ever since to really just a bunch of different communities. We've helped people across the country when California was having their wildfires and families were being put into shelters. We sent games over to them. Here in New York, we help kids in foster care. We do big holiday events with them all the time. And yeah, that's the video you guys are seeing now. That was us at Long Island Tabletop Expo, we did a big fundraising event there. We do every year. We usually hold a big raffle for everybody to come join, support the cause. And yeah.
I gotta say, you make it sound really simple, and
oh, no, it's not.
I'm listening to this going. I've been there, bro. I know exactly what you're doing.
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah, this takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time even just to get games into the hands of kids. When we want to make sure that. Hey, Tom. We wanted to make sure that when we give games out to these people, we're not just kind of putting random assortment of games in a box, sending it out and being like, well, I hope it works. We curate every donation to the organization. We'll ask them the age range of the families, how many groups play together, average, how much time do they have to play, even what we ask, how much space do they have to store these games, because we don't want to give them large box games, but they're going to families that are living in a shelter where space is a premium for them. So, we take all this into consideration when we give games out. And we pull from thousands of games. At this point, I feel like I have a mental map in my head of all the games we have, where they are, and which ones kind of work best for what scenario. But yeah.
I love it. I love what you guys do. And I feel like you guys come outside of the box though, because that Game Boy that you guys had the first time I saw you.
Oh yeah. So when we go to TCG events, we do fundraising there as well. And we we had a whole question of like, if we bring board games to a TCG event, will people care? And the answer is yes, but they don't care for the prizes as much when we're doing like a raffle for fundraising. So I reached out to a friend of mine who runs Game Boy Mart, and he makes custom Game Boy Colors, Game Boy Advances, and he makes us custom Game Boys for each event for us to raffle away. And so he's been a huge help because we wouldn't have a lot of the funding that we do if it wasn't for George over at Game Boy Mart. Honestly, he's awesome.
That the Mythic Zone are putting their plan to effect.
Okay, what was that?
I had no idea.
No,
like somebody joined our chat for a minute there. I was like, okay, who's talking?
I didn't realize how loud the TV was.
Hey, Mystic Despair. I haven't seen you in a
I've
while.
got to go do another podcast at
Yep.
8:30. So can I go? I'm going to go ahead and bounce. But thank you
Rich,
guys.
no
for having
problem. You're welcome to come back anytime. You come back before the the Kickstarter, so we can keep spreading the word.
Thank you guys. Have a great night. Thanks for having me again.
See you, bro.
See you, Rich. And good luck with everything. Yeah,
dude. Yeah, it's amazing what you guys do, and again, that's why I was like saying it's not as simple as you just said, because you guys are like doing this, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like you're doing it like other people would do it.
Yeah, so we've spoken to a lot of other organizations across the U.S. that do similar things that we do, and some of them focus more on having a safe gaming space, and so they'll actually have a location where people can meet up. I know there's an organization called Let's Play Foundation out in California. They've just started maybe like a year or two ago, and their whole thing is about going to places that are LGBTQ friendly, and they want to help bring people together. And so they bring games there as an opportunity for that community to kind of like grow and find each other. And so different organizations like mine have kind of been finding their own like way to help people with games.
Right.
For me, it's been more about wanting to use games as a way for like mental engagement, social engagement. I want people to be able to use these games for be able to be able to find a way for us to use games as a way to get out of like a negative headspace, not think of the things that are bogging you down for a moment, kind of give you a little bit of space to breathe, and also as a way for you to connect. I want it to be where people can go, and even if you're like anxious about meeting people socially, like you can use these games as a medium to help connect you with other people. And we've seen that a lot with the foster kids we've helped. We do back to school events, and a lot of times these kids are starting in new homes, in new schools, and really with not much that they're taking with them. And so what we started doing was when we give games to them, one, they put their name on the game itself. So that is their game. They know that there's ownership there. And then it's also something for them to bring to their new school, to kind of empower them and just be like, here's something I have that I can show to you. I can teach you guys. And it almost makes it feel like they have like almost like home turf advantage on this. And it's been very empowering to them. And we've seen the same things with families in domestic violence shelters. We'll teach the kids how to play the games while we give the parents like a mental health day. Right. And later on in the afternoon, when we bring the kids and the parents back together, the kids would be like, oh my God, look at all these games we have. I just know all of them. I want to teach them to you. And it empowers these kids, especially when they're in a situation like being in a domestic violence shelter. Like it's very empowering for them. And so there are huge benefits for games, and it's not something that's going to like solve all their problems. It won't pay rent. It won't, put food on the table, but it gives you that space to breathe, to kind of help clear your head, get yourself out of what, like any negative talk you might have going on, to give you something to really focus on. And then after that, you hopefully are in a better space to tackle what's going on.
So we were talking about earlier with
the best thing about it's like the best thing about playing games is like when you forget about for that time you're playing, sometimes you get so into it, you forget about all your problems, you forget about everything.
Oh yeah,
definitely. You're just playing the game, and just it's like real life is on pause, where you take care of this and then And then you come back, and sometimes you come back to the problems. Like with like a newfound energy. You're like,
Yeah,
think,
it's very true.
It's not as bad as I thought it was. So yeah.
Like whenever like the reason I started this, that's kind of the effect the games had for me. I was in a point in my life where I was very anxious about connecting with people. I felt very isolated. I really I felt like everything was just overwhelming me and kind of pushing me down. And I went with a friend of mine to go play Magic. To go play Pokemon at a place in Brooklyn called King's Games. And we lost in the first round, but we had traveled almost 2 hours to get there. And so we kind of went downstairs and we're like, all right, like what else you guys have? And he was just like, oh, well, if you guys want to play some games, like we have a bunch of games. And at the time, I was one of those people like, oh, what do you mean, Monopoly? And he was like, oh, no, like, come check out this. He's like, have you not heard of Catan? And I was just like, oh, what is this? And so he showed us Catan. He showed us Puerto Rico. And so we bought those games and we played them. And it really kind of helped break down that anxiety that was kind of like building up in me to talk to people, to like sit at a table with them. And for a while, I would travel like hour and a half to get to King's Games to go play games with people.
Nice.
And eventually I started going to Game Table in Garden City, and then they shut down. But but like I started to find this world where people were just meeting other strangers to sit at a table and play games for a couple hours and sit and laugh and ham it up whenever you lost something. And it brought out a lot of me. It brought out a lot more competitiveness in me. It brought out a lot more like confidence, because I felt like, if I made a smart move, I was like, yes, that's like, I did that. I thought of that and I felt good about that. And whenever I lost, I was really like, wow, like that was really cool. Like it being a medium for me to just kind of go through those emotions helped. It acted as like a very good buffer. Yeah.
It does.
There are a lot of bars that just recommend everyone look what's in there.
Oh,
yeah. Like during the middle of the week, they don't get a lot of people on Tuesday or Wednesday. They have like game nights, they have like trivia nights, they have they have all these things, and they're things to go to. You don't even necessarily have to drink anything if you don't want to, but there's a lot of events. Like I never understand people that are like, there's nothing for just home sometimes. Like, there's absolutely nothing for me to do. There are so many things to do every weekend. Like there's so many things. What I find is everything that's going on. But
a lot of times I feel like whenever people say things like that, it's because they're feeling that anxiety,
right?
That the idea of going out and meeting strangers, and even if it's like strangers in the public space, and like it's going to be like a safe environment and everything. Still, even knowing all that, there's that anxiety, there's that like itch in the back of your head that's just kind of giving you the like, what if I get there and nobody lets me play a game and I'm sitting there by myself? Or what if I come across like a bit of an ass whenever I go and I win and I do like a ha ha, and they go like, oh really, you would steal a card from me? And like there's all that but it's like it's all that anxiety. It's like how we were talking like beforehand. We were saying like, he was a storyteller and he chopped the guy's hand off. But like, you have to have a level of confidence to say like, I'm going to do something like that. And I'm going to have to be okay with whatever reaction I get out of it. There has to be a level of confidence out of it. And it's hard to do that. It's really hard to make yourself like vulnerable to, taking an action to like, something like Catan, putting the robber on someone's space and saying like, I'm taking a card from you and blocking your stuff, and hoping that the guy across the table doesn't kind of like, lash back out at you, make it feel awkward, make it feel uncomfortable. And then that's the rest of your night, having to sit there as someone's just kind of like eyeing you the whole time or has it out for you. Like you have to be open, because that's a possibility. And it's hard for a lot of people.
Oh, definitely. Because I've seen it when some people come to certain games and they're all shy and they're all like, I don't think this is for me. And then sometimes they don't even give it a chance.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, especially like when we're doing the events where people are coming directly to us to pick up the games that we're donating out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk to them to see like what kind of people they're playing with. We even have games that we will always bring, and I want to really thank Friendly Skeleton Games because they give us a near endless supply of Cristallo, which is a one-player game that whenever people want to really just sit there and puzzle something out by themselves and they just want to be around people but do their own thing, we always recommend Cristallo because it's a portable one-player game that you could just play by yourself. If you really wanted to, you can puzzle it out with a friend that's next to you. My wife and I play Cristallo just to puzzle it out together, and it's like that's perfectly fine. We let them know, like, if that's what you want to do, we're here to support that. We have no problem with that. If that's going to make you feel comfortable, if that's going to recharge your social battery, if that's going to give you that space to breathe and kind of like feel more comfortable and feel better at the end of the night, then yeah, I'll give you a copy of Cristallo. Like, I'm not going to force you to sit at a table with 6 people and play a game if that's not going to be what's going to make you happy at the end of the day.
I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed that lately there are so many games now that are made for just one player. Because before, you would not see a one-player role-playing game or a one-player board game.
Mm-hmm.
Now that there's these whole monstrous games that are made for one player.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? Like, there's definitely a crowd for it. Like, I've tried a few one-player games, and I can't. It's not for me, because for me, my enjoyment comes from that social, the table talk, the like the poking back and forth and having the fun banter when you do it. That's what like I enjoy. But some people do enjoy just the like. I know plenty of people who they'll have a one-player game set up on their dining room table that they'll just kind of like whittle away over the course of the week. And there's Mr. President is like a one-player only game with, I think it comes with like 7-12 rule books, something like that. It takes literally a whole dining room table, and it is a very intense game. And people will just go and be like, yeah, that's my week. I'm going to come home from work, and my way to decompress afterwards is going to just sit down and play an hour of Mr. President. And then, that's going to be my way to decompress. Some people will sit down and read a book. Some people watch a movie, go for a walk. That guy wants to be Mr. President for an hour. And, that's great. I'm happy that there are games like that for people who, like, that's the way that it's going to help them recharge.
It's funny, though, because the video game guy in me goes, why? I want to play a video game if I'm going to do that. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, like, I love video games. I've played video games all my life, and I will go back and play Metal Gear Solid again for the 800th time. I have no problem with it, but sitting down and not having to not stare at a screen for a bit when I'm constantly staring at my phone. I'm constantly just watching TV. At work, I'm looking at a computer all day, and just like it's nice to break away from that. And it's nice to just like, especially like when it's me and my wife just playing a game, it's just to like relax, enjoy each other's company, play a game, like watch as she completely tanks my win rate this year down to like 30%. Like, and we'll go and like, we'll constantly just like trash talk each other the whole time. And it's fun because we know the whole time we're just joking. We're just having fun, we're relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm literally sitting here playing the Oblivion remake.
I've actually heard good things about the Oblivion remake, so and I love Oblivion the first time, so part of me is like,
yeah, I love Oblivion more than Skyrim, so
it's a different beast. I can say that much. Yeah, Oblivion is a whole other monster. Skyrim is a monster on its own. They're fantastic games. People, if you want to jump into it and lose yourself.
Yeah.
That was the problem with those games when they first came out. You wouldn't see certain friends for like a long time, and they're like, "Oh, I'm playing Skyrim."
Mm-hmm.
Everybody remember to eat food. Go to work, take a bath because some get sucked in. Like
I saw as I was going through the stuff that you guys help out gaming clubs.
Yeah, so we've donated games to libraries so they can make clubs at their own locations. We've also donated games to Video Game Clubs of America, and so what they do is they'll send like a care package to schools so they can start a video game club. And so we partnered with them so that way we give games so they can also be starting board game clubs at their schools as well. And so they've been sending packages out everywhere. We've donated hundreds and hundreds of games, and it's been a really cool partnership because being able to reach all these schools that we haven't been in touch with, because schools were only local ones really reached out to us when it came to donations. Like we would do like winter festivals for kids, especially like for Title I schools, and they don't have much money to like pay for vendors to come and do these kinds of things. We would just go for free. We would bring a bunch of games, and we would just spend the whole day playing with them. We always encourage the adults to play with kids. There's no reason why it should just be kids at the table and an adult just sitting there like this watching them play. It's like, yeah, exactly. And they're just going, this is just for children. It's like, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. Get the table, pull that Jenga block out. And, and it's something that like they'll go and they'll be like, oh, okay, fine, whatever, because we'll nag them, and they'll sit down, and then I'll come back like an hour later, and they're still there, and they're like resetting the game. They're just like, who's next? Like they get into it because it's like they kind of start to remember like, oh yeah, it is fun, it is low stakes. And what I've oddly seen is like older people who like are watching kids just like, I'll just go back to Jenga, like play this game, tower falls down, and and everyone's like, ha 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 ha. Adults are almost like afraid to fail, and so they're afraid to go to the table. And what I hear so many times is they'll say, no, I'll just mess it up. And it's like, well, if you mess it up, that's fine. It's a game. Like you just set it up again in 2 seconds. But there's that idea in their head that like, no, I can mess this up. I don't want to mess this up. And it's like, you won't. You'll be a part of it. You'll laugh like they're laughing every time the tower falls. Every single time someone scores a goal in class, and they'll go and they'll all start screaming and cheering. You'll be able to scream and cheer too. There's no reason why you can't.
That's why like we said earlier with D&D, it's therapeutic. It's therapy, and and I gotta bring this back because you've actually done these discussions before, showcasing all this. You worked with our pals from Boardgames, and we love his games because his games are made especially for that type of interaction. Those interactions where it's kind of therapeutic.
Yeah, so we did Roll for Inclusion, which was the first panel I've ever done, which was absolutely amazing to do. And I feel like what we did there was we did a more of like a Q&A. So we just told everybody like who we are, like what we do, and we let the people who came to the panel just ask us questions for the whole time we were there. And we got a lot of really cool stuff that people were asked to us. One that really stuck to me was, so we've donated maybe like once or twice to rehab centers that have reached out to us. And one person came up to the mic and asked us about how do we handle games and addiction, because so many times there's
good question.
There's alcohol, there's violence, there's pushing your luck and gambling, and like these are things that are just kind of tacked on to games. And they're like, so how do you how would you tackle that? And I was like, well, we actually had to think about that. And what we did was we made sure that any game that we gave to them, there's no expansions, there's no TCG element or anything like that they can kind of like dive into too heavily. We made sure there were no excessive violence, there was no alcohol, there was no smoking. We made sure like the themes were all more abstract. So like we really did take all that into consideration. And like her coming up afterwards, she was like, this was the highlight of PAX for me. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. But like it was really cool. I think that was one of the coolest experiences at PAX, was having that person come up and be like asking like such an interesting question like that. Because I didn't, like we thought about it, but like it's something that like we just kind of did instinctively, but we were like, yeah, like I was looking at my like all the games in my Calyx and being like, wow, a lot of these games do like. I mean, me personally, I always tried to get all expansions and stuff. I'm very much the completionist in my head, and so like, yeah, if you suffer from addiction and you're you just kicked one habit and your body's trying to find like another like sort of habit to latch to, and you give somebody the opportunity to like, hey, come play Magic with us, and then they start finding that little itch there. Like maybe their addiction was gambling, and now you're telling somebody they can just buy packs, crack a rare, like but that's really serious, and it's like that can lead somebody to like financial ruin, like for just spending money on packs. Like if you don't put that into consideration.
I made that mistake.
So,
I was playing the game and I was like, this isn't for me. But the art's beautiful, so let me keep collecting the art. That was a bad road.
I mean, unless you're modern day Magic the Gathering and you're using AI art now.
Well, all these guys are constantly doing the craziest stuff.
It's like Warhammer, where you make a figure of the character and then you play the character, and then people go really deep into it. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were making fun of it before the show because that's one of those things where you if you get into it, like I was telling you, if you got into it, Chris, I was like, did you get into the Warhammer? Because that's the making the figures. Yeah. That's a money.
That's a money sink. And you say that as I have like all of my like mini painting supplies like surrounding me here, and like I'm someone who will go from like hobby to hobby fairly often, and I'll just like sink my teeth into it, dump a bunch of money, and then I'll do the millennial thing of just like, all right, cool, on to the next thing, like So I totally get that.
Too much of anything is never a good thing, So.
That's very true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really true.
Like move around, have different hobbies.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what it is that we want to like jump in, indulge, and we for some reason we dive into a lot of things.
Because you know what, like when you start to like something and you're like, wow, this is bringing me joy. This is really cool. You want to jump into it. Why wouldn't you? You just found this new shiny thing that you're just like wow, I'm really enjoying like mini painting. I stopped mini painting for a while, but like that brought me so much joy. Coming home, just putting on some nice music, relaxing, hanging back, painting minis, especially if like there was like a little like mini competition I wanted to jump into. Like nice. It gave me something to like I came home to be like, oh yeah, like I want to like really like get into this. And it was great. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I have it all here, just sitting here, and I'll jump into it again one day.
I did see something like that at Long Island Tabletop Gaming Expo. They had this whole little competition where people brought in their things they were making, the miniatures, the I can't even call them miniatures because these things were like scenery.
Oh yeah. People will make whole like dioramas and displays at it for their minis. And I very, very slightly did my toe. For me, it was more like funny enough, like it was board gaming that got me into mini painting because I had board games with minis, and I was like, it'd be cool if they were painted and they weren't just gray. And fast forward, God knows how much money and time. And let me tell you, I've only painted like 2 of my board games.
Let's see. Yummy says, board games for the better is a great idea. People also forget that those who are struggling, having anything that gives a sense of accomplishment is to be treasured. She's right. That's exactly what we've been talking about.
Yeah. So like, I feel like there's a few moments that kind of really stand out to me since we've done this. One of them was there's a family in Canada who lost their house during a wildfire a couple years back. And so we sent them a shipment of games, and we got a letter back from them later on where it was like the husband and wife saying, we had been arguing and screaming, and it's been so stressful. And we got your games, and the kids started playing on their own. And it was the first time that they were able to sit together and not argue and not scream and not feel stressed. And it kind of just gave them like that moment to just be like, and just like help process things. And I was like, cool, that's literally exactly what I'm hoping people get out of this.
It's funny that you're saying that because I remember, because I'm that old, a time where board games was one of those family events. They would.
Yeah.
Families would buy board games like Sorry or Monopoly,
Mm-hmm.
stuff that caused fights, but that's not the point. They will all. It will be a family thing. It'll be like, oh, it's game night on Monday, or it's a game night on Tuesday. We're all gonna sit down. We're all gonna, and it'll be this interaction that I feel like you don't get anymore.
Yeah. I mean, like even just this past weekend, I saw a lot of my friends I haven't seen in a while, and we were just hanging out and we chatted for a while, and then we busted out a few games, and we sat there and played game Flip 7, and we played that for a few hours. And I think Tom was in the chat before. He was telling me, he was like, I can't remember the last time I laughed that hard. Like his stomach was hurting just because somebody got to like 199 points out of the 200 they needed to win, and they just lost it, and they were just like, I cannot believe this luck. And it just made this so many like fun. Yeah, there we go. and it was great. Like that weekend, like we just sat there and we all just hung out and we played games, and it was great. It was just like while we were all still chatting and doing what we were doing, we just had a game in the middle, just tossing cards around. And yeah.
Yummy also says having a safe environment that can give them the sense of being able to accomplish goals will help them feel they can improve their own lives and keep at it. Yeah, I agree.
I will, Yumi. And also, I love your little Gumi icon. It's great.
Yeah, Yumi, she's a big gamer.
Mm-hmm. And then another one that really kind of comes to me, and actually I brought these out. So last holiday season, we donated to a school in Queens. A teacher reached out to us saying that a lot of their students weren't getting Christmas presents.
Oh.
And so we came just before they were going to go on winter break. And we brought them all board games. And then we also gave games to the teacher themselves, because teachers deserve all the love and respect in the world. And she came back to us later on, and they wrote letters to us.
Whoa.
And some of my favorite things here are, where is it? There's a few students that thought we were Santa, and it was great. We have this here where they.
I love it.
It's wonderful.
It kind of showcases that some of these things we need to be done, because the whole world is a misery half the times, and if you can bring a little bit of joy to the world,
that's really what it is. It's such a fun feeling of just being able to say, like, this is my hobby and I'm using it to help people. And honestly, like, not just in this charity, but in every job I've had, like, the number one goal has always been, like, I want my job to be helping people. And I've worked in animal welfare. I worked with dementia. I've always tried to make sure that, like, whatever programs I'm doing, whatever job I have, it has to help people.
That makes sense, though. It really, like, brings you to a place. It's also good to help people, to do exactly what you're saying, because there's a sense there as well. Yeah.
It's like it's always been like my mentality, because like growing up, my dad used to always say that, like, the world's a bad place. It's not great, but if everybody does their part to make the world a little bit better, maybe next time it won't be that bad. And that always stuck with me as a kid. And so, like, I've always wanted to kind of like follow that idea of just like, that's it. Like, I won't change the world, but I will make it better for people. And hopefully I've impacted somebody that will help make somebody else's life better. And, maybe that will chain and continue on. And maybe it doesn't. But you know what? At least I try my best.
Exactly. So if somebody is out there and they're listening to this and they want to help, where can they? How can they help you?
Well, first, they can give somebody a hug and help somebody else. They can find us on Instagram at Boardgames for the Better. We have our website, boardgamesforthebetter.org. And those are pretty much the two main places you can find us. You can find us on Facebook, but whatever we post on Instagram is going to be on Facebook too. But yeah, if you can also find us at like Long Island tabletop events and LITCG and PAX, and yeah, we try. If you have any place that you would like us to donate to, you can go to our website and you can send a request, and we will reach out to them and get games to those locations. If you're a teacher or if you run a library, any kind of program where you think these games can benefit, please reach out to us. And if you're a board game publisher and you want to donate games to this cause, you could always reach out to us there as well. We are always looking for more games because games are always going out the door. So, we want to always make sure that if people reach out to us for help, that we have games to give out to them.
There you go. I'm putting it into the comment section. I already put the Instagram in there. Now here is the website. And Yumi was saying that she has a whole horde of them. Goofy dressed up as a Gengar.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a Gengar. It's got little spikes on the top.
I was never
well, if you we got a Gengar Game Boy Color we're raffling off soon.
Oh man! Oh yeah, I can see that Jordan's putting all these little things on the side over here.
Just getting ready. Yeah.
So folks, let's see. Of course, we want to help out a couple of other friends who are doing their thing. Dirk Manning will be doing a special panel show with me tomorrow for Comics in the Bronx, and his Kickstarter is still going. A fantastic little Kickstarter he spoke about last week, Thursday, here on our show. It's doing really well. He's at 14,557. They're really close to the next stretch goal, right, Jordan?
Yeah, and also if you go to Cherry Capital Comic Con, he's going to have the 100 special.
Oh, that's right. I like when he does that.
100 special ash cans.
Yeah, so if you guys see him there, you'll get those special ash cans. He likes doing that. He did it at New York Comic Con with his other book, and Jordan was able to get one of those.
Yep.
We made sure Jordan gets his stuff when Dirk's here in the city.
The Dirk stuff, at least.
Yeah, well, the rich stuff, I gotta find it. I know. I don't know what happened to it. I'm not gonna blame anybody, but let's see.
Well, to be fair, I did get that one from you.
Yeah, we also have. Jordan was sharing this. Dude, they're doing really well.
Iconic Comics makes a lot of good stuff, man.
Yep, folks.
And then they had those huge issues with Indiegogo and all that other stuff.
But if you love, you guys are gonna love this stuff. Go check it out. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
We've put up a couple of their Kickstarters now, right?
Yeah, I think from me alone, I think I've put like 2 or 3 of them up for you.
Yeah. Let's see. We also have Phil Rustert is doing his special book for his father. He was trying to get to this into his father's hand before he died. He wasn't able to do so, but he's trying to make it happen now. He wanted to make a graphic novel, but he's broken it up into 5 separate issues to make it easier to get done. So the more you help him out, the better it is. The more money he makes, the more, because all this stuff is already done. It just needs to get to come out and get there. And this is like a passion project for him. So if you guys can help out, go right ahead, go help out. It's a great story. It's fantastic. I've gotten a chance to read it. It is classic Silver Age comics. Great adventure, dudes. And I'm not even going to spoil it because there's a couple of good spoilers in there as well. But I give it 2 thumbs way up. Go check out Papa. It's a fantastic little book. And let's see. Jordan was putting up. Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right, Jordan, you can talk.
Oh, yep. Well, I can't call it otaku lamps anymore. They sell way more than that now. Well, from like 2 years ago when it was just lamps. I mean, they've grown exponentially since then. They have like clothing and all this other stuff now. Earlier, they just announced that this week and the coming weeks they just announced like 8 new licenses.
Wow.
Is it like solo leveling clothes? Is that what that is?
Yeah, solo leveling. They're going to get some more Berserk stuff in, and
cool.
They said they were going to bring JoJo back at some point.
Yeah, I have the Taco Lamp.
Yep, I know you do.
That says a lot, folks.
Yep.
Just look at Tony's collection back there. You know he gets quality stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You also have this.
Yep. Another place that Tony has gotten stuff from me for. Play Asia, they sell everything from, I mean, it says right there's games and toys and movies, music, books. There's a lot.
If Jordan, you get a little bit of a kick from when people use your code, right?
Yep.
There you go. So I'm going to take this code and I'm going to put it here in the comment section so you guys can go help Jordan out. Yep. You know you want the geek stuff. You know you want to buy it. Let's get, there we go. Comment section. So, you buy your geek stuff and you help Jordan out.
Yep.
All right, folks. Is there anything else? Are we forgetting something, guys?
I don't think so.
Well, Saturday is free comic book day, so go to get some comics on me, and hopefully, I'm not sure. Waiting on our friend to get back to us. Hopefully, we'll be in Jersey for the anime con. Hopefully. Yeah,
we're supposed to go to Garden State Anime Sunday.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. We are definitely. I'm gonna be at Royal Collectibles on Saturday for Free Comic Book Day. Yeah. They have a makers fair there at Royal Collectibles, so it's the Free Comic Book Day and a makers fair, and you'll see it all as I go and check it out and I show it to you. Because I love going to Royal Collectibles.
I'll be at Midtown Comics downtown if you happen to see me. Royal Collectibles was great because I got all the books I wanted, but I'm just so curious with like Diamond being what it is and Lunar getting into it, what my local store is gonna have. So I'm gonna just roll the dice, take my chances, and see what I get. So yeah, because Midtown or like New York in general would, for some reason they would like never get like the Udon Street Fighter comics. I don't know what it was, but like outside of New York you would get it. So I don't know, but now like Lunar is doing the distribution for Udon. It's so strange right now. I think Lunar's doing all the DC stuff, and then
also they've added other things.
Yeah. So it's very strange. I'm gonna see what happens. I don't know. I'm just out of curiosity. I'll see what happens. I mean, I'll always get them after the fact. It's just sometimes not on the day. I have to wait. Just ask for it. But
sometimes it's hard though because certain things go really fast.
Yeah.
But that's the fun of it because that's what it used to be for me. I used to go from comic store to comic store trying to find what I missed.
I haven't done that in years. That's probably what I'm gonna try to do. Like, I mean, like I used to go to every comic store, but now I'll be like, whatever you got, just give me the bag. So I'm gonna try to do that. A lot of times, it's the bad thing. A lot of times, like close to like Cinco de Mayo, like it's the day right after Cinco de Mayo. I just like so. Go over like, I love Archie. Just give me, just give me. We'll see.
Oh man, Chris, you're a comic geek as well.
Yeah, I used to read a lot more comics than I do now, but I used to always read like Green Arrow comics, like the Mike Grell comics. Always been a big Superman fan.
As we were talking in the beginning of the show.
Oh yeah, me and Big Blue love them. And lately I've been like doing a bit more like there's more horror comics, like Something's Killing the Children. I just finished that. I'm waiting for House of Slaughter. I want to see how the spin-off books are. I bought American Vampire. Haven't read it yet. That's on my like to-do list. I think next up is going to be Minor Arcana, and I have to finish Baltimore because I'm up to the last volume, and I feel like I've just been dragging my feet on Baltimore.
Are you going to go to your local comic store for Free Comic Book Day?
I normally do. I usually go to Grasshopper Comics for free comic.
That's what I was going to say. So get their name out there.
Oh yeah.
We
Go to Grasshopper
especially
Comics.
during this time of year. We're like, say the names, folks. Say the names.
Oh, go to Grasshopper. Go to your local comic store. Get a free comic. Reading is good for you.
Reading is fundamental. See, I'm old.
My local comic store doesn't do it because it's this small, so I have to go. Well, usually, I'll say Electronic Comics. Usually, if you walk in, they'll give you, and you'll say they'll give you a free comic. It won't be a free comic, but they'll pull something out of somewhere else.
Yeah, they'll pull an issue they have back somewhere.
I've been to a couple of comic stores that actually they'll give you free comic books, and if they don't have the free comic books.
Yeah, they'll give you some weird mystery, something, like a man's plant went wild. You'll get something, so Yeah.
Jordan, are you going to your local comic store?
I ain't got one.
Usually I have to go all the way to pretty far, right?
The one I did have never really. The guy was kind of always. I don't know.
That's always a bad thing.
Not great.
You don't like.
And then,
I gotta say, there's been comic stores that I stopped going to, and just because of that.
And then his store flooded, and so.
Oh, karma.
Yeah.
Yummy says if more kids were encouraged to read comics, the literacy level in the USA would skyrocket.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I got the Pokemon Adventure comics for my nephews, and they were just like, first reading manga backwards for them was like, what is going on?
My brain. That's right, folks. Go check out your local comic book store for Free Comic Book Day this Saturday, May 3rd. Oh my God, I can't believe it's May.
I know.
Yep. And then a month from that, it'll be close to Switch 2 time.
That's right. Everybody's getting ready for their Switch 2.
Yeah, like me with my 5 foot long receipt.
Jordan's our beta tester. He's gonna be
exactly.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the first one to learn stuff. Nintendo's really good with like the first releases. Though.
Oh, dude, yeah. I have to say, out of all the systems I've bought Nintendo, as soon as they came out, a couple of times, I've yet to regret it. I think the only regret I've had was the Joy-Cons, but that was like later on.
Yeah.
And it's still happening.
Yeah. I think the Switch I got really on like the Joy-Con and like the mount, but the system itself works. I just had
it's beautiful.
The system itself works, so I don't care about the other stuff. But because you can replace it, the system itself still works. Yeah. Yeah, I would like to say be a little suspect of Sony PlayStation stuff on day one. Just be a little. I would just say
I've learned that mistake a couple times.
How many red rings have you gotten?
Oh yeah.
See, I'm gonna take it way back, folks, back into time where I had to flip my PlayStation over, my PS1.
Oh yeah,
so I could play.
Yeah, my old PlayStation, I sold it to somebody, and I was like, turn it upside down. I'm like, what? I don't know why it doesn't work.
It makes no sense. Just turn it upside down.
Well, I don't know why it works, but it works. And then they call back, yeah, it works fine. Okay, good, cool.
Chris, there's also a free RPG day where you go to your local RPG store and you get stuff. You wouldn't know which day that was, right?
That I don't know off the top of my head, because for me it's always been like games and RPGs. I've never gotten into them yet. I need the right group to pull me into it.
I'll get the information.
There's a I guess it would be a tabletop game I backed on Kickstarter like 2-3 years ago, and I still haven't touched it. I gave them like $250 for it because it was a franchise I've really liked for a long time.
Oh, I've done that so many times.
Yeah, I've done that a bunch.
Well, I mean,
it's an IP I really like. It's like
you're the board game guy, so have you ever heard of Binding of Isaac?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did a card game. Yeah,
I played the card game before. It's good.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. It just sits on my shelf though.
You have like the long chest, right?
Yeah. I got. Oh jeez.
I'm gonna show it.
Yeah. I also got that Adventure Time one last year too.
Ooh.
Oh, they just did another Kickstarter.
The second one for that, yeah.
I'm so mad I didn't back it. I feel like I wanted to do Card Wars so badly.
All right, let's see. Let me help It's the flashlight.
The beautiful collection. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, there we go. Yeah, the big chest right there.
Dude, I'd buy it just for the chest.
And then Card Wars.
Yeah, Card Wars.
Cards Against Humanity.
Ah.
And then I got like all these.
Damn. You are a whole gaming thing by yourself.
Well, like the 7 Summits and stuff used to be Source Point Press.
That was right.
Back when they still did card games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot they had a gaming division.
Yep, and then they renamed it or something, and then stuff like this.
That was shock. There goes the Monopoly. Like I said,
I wish I had my collection behind me. It's like 300 games, just all.
Yeah.
I just got the Metal Gear Solid board game not too long ago. I've been digging through that. What else has it been? I think Helldivers.
There was a Helldivers one. I did see that.
Yeah. I'm excited about the game, but I don't like the company that's doing it very much because Awakened Realms has always been like great IPs, mediocre games.
Yumi also said it takes a bit to get used to manga, but once you do, oh man, there's nothing else like it.
Oh yeah, I agree.
All right, folks, I'm happy you guys have enjoyed our geek out today. Of course, we're going to have Chris back because he was a great guest and he's a great geeker, outer geeker. So we're definitely going to bring him back. And of course, you guys know Rich is going to come back over and over and over because we want to bring him back over and over. Of course, tomorrow, check us out for Comics in the Bronx, our writers edition for creating comics. So if you have questions on creating comics, tomorrow will be one of those days to ask. And of course, all this is leading up to May 10th, where we're going to be in Bronx College. And we're going to be there live doing the Creator Comics series. We'll have a whole panel of people talking, creating comics. And if you have questions, you can bring it in there too as well. So there you have it, creating comics. And of course, on Wednesday, we'll do the written writ as well. I know, I'm a glutton for punishment. I got it. All right, folks, on this show, when it ends, this happens. Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to end the show. Sorry about that. Guys, we have fun at Bix this weekend, the Brooklyn Independent Comic Showcase. And of course, we're showing off our beautiful little stuff here, like my Wamblum. Have a great night.